Hey guys, I'm sorry that I'm not in my normal recording space. I'm actually on a trip in Arizona right now, but I thought I'd put up a little video. Um, Little backstory. John and I were talking, and he said that he was putting up his top 10 moments in How to Train Your Dragon, I think it is. Like in the whole series. So, I thought that I would do my own little thing here, and I sent him it over thinking he might want to tack this onto the end of his video, but he said that it would be better if I did it on my own channel and we could just link back and forth to each other's videos. I'm not exactly sure how to start this off, but we're just going to get right into this, and this is my thoughts on How to Train Your Dragon as a whole. Not just the first movie, not all the movies, but every episode. This is my thoughts on dragons.
Dragons. They were first introduced to us through a curiosity. The moment we sat down in that seat and the boy on the moon appeared on the screen, we crossed a threshold into a world that we would never want to leave, nor could we. John, Tyler, Rebecca, and I, we entered a world from the first epic fight against dragons on Berk to our first flight with a night fury. We entered a world that we love to visit, yet we will never get to go. Through our journeys with the Dragon Riders of Berk, we marveled at the beauty of the barbaric archipelago on flights. We cheered at the successful battles, and we might have gotten a little teary-eyed at some devastating losses. We laughed at the antics of the twins, groaned every time Snot Loud opened his mouth, or at least for the first couple seasons, and took in some insightful advice from Gobber's trademark wit. We celebrated victorious fights against the outcasts, the berserkers, and the dragon hunters. We watched as new alliances formed with the two former, as well as the defenders of the wing and the wing maidens. We wept at the losses of old friends and selfless sacrifices. We squeed at blooming romances. Hiccup and Astrid, Fishlegs and Heather, Dagger and Mala, to name a few. It's a journey that brings us all much joy. However, we cannot forget the one person at the center of it all. A skinny, auburn-haired lad, no more than 15 years old. Hiccup Horrendous Haddock III, I think, embodies something that all of us went through. He was the outcast, the runt, the weirdo, as I'm sure we all were at that age. We were introduced to him at a very relatable time in his life, a time where we were all trying to find who we were. I think that's why we connected so well with him and emphasized with his plight of trying to fit in where he did not belong. Through this journey, we encountered various types of dragons, from the common species, from the ferocious monstrous nightmare, to the bird-like deadly natter, to the gronkle, which John has said, and I quote, looks like a pile of shit. As we left Berk to explore other islands in and beyond the archipelago, we encountered many more exotic types of dragons, from the velociraptor-like speed stingers, to the metallic razor whip, to the beautiful death song, to the magnificent storm cutter, all culminating in the king of dragons, the mighty bewilderbeast. But now, our journey is over. The flight is done. Do we want it to end? Of course not. But we have so many good memories, and as cliche as this sounds, all good things must come to an end. DreamWorks, Dean DeBlois, and Chris Ishikawa have created a world, a beautiful, wondrous world which I want to visit. Actually, no. A world in which I want to live. I want to spar with Astrid and get my ass kicked. No shame, she beat the shit out of all of us. I want to fly with the riders and fight dragon hunters. I want to sit and talk of stories of old with Stoic the Vast. I want to hear humorous stories from Gobber the Belt and how he fought off a dragon with his hook. I want to punch Mildew in the face, as I'm sure we all do. I want to train a dragon. But we can't. We can always revisit old adventures, rewatch old episodes, and that will have to be enough. I'm happy we've had such a long run with dragons. And that brings a question to my mind. What is dragons? No, not what are dragons, but what is dragons? What makes it the journey that makes it so lovable, that it's now such a timeless story? Personally, I can't pin down what specific factor. It's not the toys or the merchandise, of which I've seen very little of, although I have seen some recently. It's not any specific episode or character. For me, I think it's more than all of it. It's more than every episode, every character, every dragon, every adventure. It's something more. It's all of us. Not just John and Tyler's review series, not just Maya and Rebecca's review series, but us. Every single fan of Dragon. So, what is Dragons? It's the story of us. The fan base. This is our story. This is our mythology. This is our hero's journey. We are dragons. I saw the first film when I was but a very young lad in 5th grade. As I grew up, my favorite characters grew up with me. As they learned where they belonged, I too learned where I belong. And I'm happy to say this, the quote that started this entire saga way back in the beginning of the first book, and I'm so glad that it applies to me. There were dragons when I was a boy.
And now, our journey is just about over. We have the 3rd movie coming out this month, and it's going to be, from what I've heard, it's going to be one hell of a ride. I'd like to thank you all for supporting me on this channel. These past couple years with Rebecca and the review series, and finally getting to work with John on Nerdvana, it's been amazing. It's hard to believe that it's been over almost a year now, over a year now actually, since we started doing collaborations together. And the series that started it all for both of us, we managed to give our thoughts on that and build our channels off of that. I'm very glad for what Dragons has given me. Starting to get a little emotional. But thank you all so much for watching. Please go check out John's channel. He did his top 10 moments of How to Train Your Dragon. Click the annotation for more videos that I've done. And I will see you all next time. Thank you.